Hey everyone, this is my run on Lofty Souls Lufenia Plus, which is the event debut of Sid Reigns, which is a hyped character in DFFOO Global, and for good reason. His kit is really quite powerful. This run is also a low boss turn run, also showcasing the combo of Sid Reigns and Aphmau turn manipulation. As always, there will be a timestamp in the video description that you can use to skip ahead to the section that you are interested in. So coming to this fight, a little bit about the setup. First and foremost, the team composition comprises of the core of Aphmau and Sid Reigns. The idea is that both of them carry turn manipulation in their kit, so if you combo them very well, you can actually just keep turn manipulating and moving your party's turn right before the boss, thereby preventing the boss from ever getting his first turn. It is a little bit tricky because the boss always starts the fight with the turns framed and a full recast bar, and if you allow the boss to get a turn, it will use its recast attack and cleanse all debuffs, as well as of course damaging your party for very high amounts of damage. The third party member essentially just requires an aura bot of some sort. So if you have Y'shtola, for example, especially if she's green, she's a very good third party member. I used Yuna, and I've set a Zidane friend support, mainly because I thought before entering the fight that I could delete the boss's turns, but turns out from here that the frame turns also makes the boss immune to turn deletion. So on hindsight, I think between Zidane and Y'shtola, it's probably better to set a green Y'shtola friend support. The Y'shtola friend support is also beneficial because she can use Stone Plus to inflict another defense down debuff on the boss, which helps you to keep your damage up throughout the fight. Of course, she also provides better batteries than Zidane, so you can have better launch damage. So at the start of the fight, I immediately swap Yuna out for the friend support and go into BT mode. That's really optional. The other approach you can take is to just use your aura bot BT mode right at the start and then swap out for the friend support after the BT aura is over. With Aphmau and Sid Reigns, what you want to do is link Aphmau to Sid through her LD. And if you need to turn manipulate, you can either use Sid Reigns LD to move both party members back before the boss, or if you don't need to move two party members, such as in this case, you can just use Sid Reigns S2 to move one party member back before the boss's turn. The key in deciding which skill to use is to ensure that you always have all three party members acting before the boss, so that you can maximize on the launches that you can do with Sid Reigns. So I've burned through my Zidane friend support pretty quickly because I spammed his LD. On the return of Yuna, I then entered BT mode so that I can get the BT aura for the rest of the fight. You also want to keep a very close eye on the tactical switch buff on Sid Reigns. It only lasts for 4 turns, so you always want to ensure that he has at least 1 turn left on the tactical switch so that Aphmau is able to pull him back. If he runs out of tactical switch, what you can do is have Aphmau use her LD to refresh 4 turns of tactical switch and pull Sid Reigns back so that Sid Reigns can pull the rest of the party members back. That being said, you really want to maximize as many of the 4 turns of tactical switch as possible, because of course Aphmau's LD is quite limited. If she runs out of LD, you lose half of your turn manipulation and essentially makes it, I guess, very difficult to almost impossible to prevent the boss from getting a turn. I decided to pop my summon here because I wanted to use Seed Rain's EX to dispel the buffs on the boss. You can also decide to save the summon for later, especially when the boss puts up the HP damage shields, and instead use Seed Rain's LD to pull back both characters' turn before the boss and continue on with the turn manipulation. There are some options here. I ended up deciding to go for the summon because I wanted to see his EX in action. After summon is over, you'll notice that you have quite a lot of buffer turns before the boss can act again. At this point, you actually want to conserve your key turn manipulation skills such as Aphmau's LD. Don't do what I did here and raise her LD. I don't think it's needed, and it's probably better to save both Aphmau and Seed Rain's LD when you need to turn manipulate before the boss. Right here, since all your characters have many more multiple turns before the boss, you can just spam some skills to get some damage in while conserving their limited LD users. Want to mention a little bit about call abilities. There are some potentially good options here that you can use. I ended up going for Kurasame, Jack and Chantoto, mainly to lower the boss's defenses as much as possible. Other good options include Kai's LD call, because that will give you more Brave refund after your launch attacks, which helps to bolster your damage through Brave gains. You can also consider a Setzer call to inflict Freeze Joker, because as you notice throughout the fight, the boss will battery himself to max Brave at certain points throughout the fight, so a Freeze Joker does help on that as well. So essentially that's really it for the rest of the fight. During Aphmau's turn, if both her puppets are up, you always want to use her puppet attacks because they are free turns and they do provide some small utility. Her Brave puppet attack will battery the party, and her HP puppet attack will debuff speed down on the boss, which is quite helpful. Even if the damage is low, considering it's free damage, it's probably better that you make full use of it. Little bit about Seed Rain's Heavenly Fist converted HP attack. After you use his LD, he does get that move, which provides him a launch and an instant turn, so he can act again right after that. You'll notice that I hardly use that in this fight. The main reason is that because it's an instant turn effect, it takes down the tactical switch buff on Seed Rain's quicker. So there is some drawback if you are pairing Seed Rains with Aphmau. I decided not to use it in the end because I want to maximize the 4 turns of tactical switch as much as possible. So at this point right here, you notice that I've run out of Aphmau's LD, which is a point I was trying to make earlier, that when you have buffer turns, it's probably better to hang on to the LD and use the key turn manipulation skills when each of your character only has 1 turn left before the boss, as in this case. That being said, because I still have tactical switch up on seed reigns at this point, the remaining turn manipulation from tactical switch is enough for me to end the fight. It's actually kind of a shame that I ended the fight with still 2 more of seed reigns LD, so on hindsight I could probably use his LD a little bit more on the earlier parts of the fight to make full use of it, because it does represent very big damage on his part. So that's it for this fight. As always, if you enjoy the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia fight. Bye!